Subhash Chandra Bose once said, "Give me blood, and I will give you freedom." But what if, after freedom, he had asked for discipline, for unity, for absolute trust in his leadership? Would we as a nation have been ready to follow? Would our identity today be one of steel and sacrifice, or rigid control at the cost of liberty? What if Subhash Chandra Bose had become the first Prime Minister of independent India? Not Nehru, not Gandhi, but Netaji, the soldier, the revolutionary, the man who raised an army to fight British rule from beyond Indian borders. How would India have changed? What would we have gained or lost? Let's imagine that alternate reality. Subhash Bose was not a politician of compromise. He was a man of bold action, a fierce nationalist who believed India's freedom wouldn't come through negotiation, but through resistance. If Bose had taken charge of free India, the first change would have been in governance itself. He admired strong leaders, Mussolini in his early days, yes, but more for their discipline than their ideology. India might have had a semi-authoritarian democracy, where elections were held, but national interest came before party politics. Freedom of speech? Definitely. But Bose would not tolerate chaos in the name of liberty. It would have been democracy, with military-style discipline. Now, let's look at the economy. Unlike Nehru's socialist leanings, Bose imagined something different. He wanted a strong, state-planned economy, but not one that shut out private enterprise. His vision was a mix Indian nationalist capitalism, large public sector enterprises alongside powerful Indian industrialists, strategic industries controlled by the state, steel, energy, defense, but space for Indian entrepreneurs to rise and build a self-reliant economy. Make in India wouldn't just be a slogan, it might have been India's foundation from day one. And then comes the military. To Bose, the army wasn't just a tool, it was the soul of national pride. Had he taken power, India would have built a strong defense system right from the start. Possibly a large, elite force, inspired by the Indian National Army. Military service might have become compulsory or deeply respected. Defense spending would likely be much higher. India might have started its nuclear weapons program years before it actually did. Imagine India as a nuclear power by the 1960s instead of 1974. We would have stood as a global force, feared, respected, prepared. Now let's shift to foreign policy. Nehru believed in non-alignment, staying neutral during the Cold War. Bose, not so much. He believed India should form strategic alliances to protect and promote its interests. If that meant aligning with a power bloc, so be it. India might have joined hands with the Soviet Union or even played the West against the East for better deals. No fence-sitting, just bold diplomacy. India might have had a permanent seat at the global table much earlier. And then perhaps the most long-lasting change, education and culture. Bose was deeply modern and scientific in thought. He wanted Indian youth to be bold, smart, and nationally committed. The education system might have emphasized STEM subjects, civic training, military drills, and Indian history free from colonial bias. English wouldn't vanish, but Indian languages and culture would thrive alongside science and innovation. Pride in being Indian would be taught in classrooms, not just spoken on national holidays. So, what would Netaji's India really look like? A stronger military, a disciplined society, a powerful economy, and a government where order ruled over chaos. But maybe a little less freedom of expression, a little more fear of the state, a little less debate, and a lot more obedience. Would that India be better, stronger, more respected on the world stage? History took one path, but imagining the other makes us ask, what kind of India do we truly want? One shaped by ideas or by ideals? That's the India we might have seen if Subhash Chandra Bose had led us into freedom. What do you think? Would Netaji's India have been a golden age or a disciplined dream with hidden costs? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.